suppose where I am at the moment is I'm in my studio in Manorhamilton, which is fantastic. It meant having a studio outside of my resident house, living, so it's nice to leave the house, go to a studio and be working on a project. I'm working towards an exhibition. I suppose I've gone full-time as an artist about a year and a half ago, and that meant leaving a kind of teaching practice to follow full-time practice, and that became apparent a few years ago when I was just under massive pressure to produce work for shows and be looking at my practice very much in a full-time capacity. And I suppose where I'm at right now is completing a body of work that I've been working on for a year and a half for my first solo show in Dublin with the Sol Art Gallery on Dolores Street, and that's opening on December. I use a very different style or material in my work. I use aluminium sheets, aluminium panels. I came across this process of making work because living in Leitrim, I look at the kind of landscape we live in, and it's kind of quite damp and kind of cold in a sense, but it's my inspiration within the work. I had worked in canvas and I was working on drawings a lot of time, but I felt maybe the sheen or the coldness of the aluminium has a beautiful finish, this beautiful surface that kind of represents what I'm trying to get from my paintings and what I'm inspired by. To get an award of any type is fantastic. To be acknowledged by your peers and by the audience or anyone viewing your work, that they see something in it that's, that you can be deemed to be given an award is important. As an artist, as a full-time artist, you do send your work in for different shows and different acknowledgements, and for anyone to, another part and parcel of your practice is to be pushing yourself to beyond the boundaries you think you have, to see, how your audience participates in your work.
This would be one that all the students play. Well, I started out teaching violin and also travelling up to RTE for Crona Gallagher, but the whole time kind of thinking about the kids that I was teaching here. So I set up this little music ensemble, string ensemble. I had full attendance at all the rehearsals. The parents were fully behind us. It was great. The youth cafe here that we're in right now got behind me straight away and gave me the space and all the support. I think when we sort of morphed ourselves into songwriters, which we have been doing more recently, I think for me the highlight is just seeing them sort of learn how to express themselves and then, put that into a structure that they can communicate, and then have actually through this program here with the NCYCS actually have the platform to showcase what they've done and have a goal and all that kind of stuff. That for me is really the reward, to see that in the children, the change that comes about through all that, Leitrim County Council, sort of acknowledging my work means a lot to me, because I have so much respect for them as a support for artists, because I kind of came at the artistic side of things from a different angle. They sort of they've been watching, I suppose, what was happening from a distance. So I really, it means a lot to me that that they're recognizing kind of the work that we do, because I think when you work with children, nobody expects to be rewarded really in that sense. It's never really at the forefront of those sort of things. But you're rewarded obviously like daily in the work, but oftentimes those folks aren't really acknowledged the way they should be.
I'm primarily a printmaker, working as an etcher, which is a very old technique using copper and various different papers, Japanese gampi, which is what Rembrandt used for this fine line, and Italian Fabriano, which is a very old company that makes this beautiful etching paper. I work here in the print room in Leitrim Sculpture Centre, and this is a wonderful studio with brilliant equipment. And then my own personal studio is upstairs in the Sheehan's building. That's where I finish my work. So I print down here using papers and inks and the printing press, and then I finish my work upstairs with paints and chalks and graphite. So the artist in the community group program under Creative Leitrim is a really fantastic way of bringing the community into the arts world and the arts world into the community. It's mutually beneficial. The particular group that I'm working with is the day centre in Our Lady's Hospital here in Manorhamilton, which has a lot of elderly people coming to spend a few hours every day. But it means everything. It's absolutely incredible to get this award. The county is full of really talented, hard-working professional artists, musicians, writers, theatre workers. So to get this particular award means absolutely the world to me. It's just fantastic. I'm delighted.
The project was funded by Creative Ireland through the Leitrim County Council Arts Office, and I was asked to facilitate some writing workshops for the Leitrim International Community Group, and we ended up with people from different walks of life, different countries. Some of them were fleeing awful conditions in their own countries, and some of them didn't have those kind of backgrounds. So we had a mix of countries involved. There was Kurdistan, Panama, Sierra Leone, Syria, the UK. We had 6 countries in all, and the participants had a different range of language skills in English. Some of them were fluent, and some of them had so little that we had to Google Translate, as I was saying. It's a privilege and an honour also that the Leitrim Arts Office has decided to give this an award. These people came together and helped each other in terms of the actual production of the booklet and their writings in such a beautiful way. It was like having a microcosm of the planet.
We've done a lot. We have done 2 really successful culture nights. The first one was at Glencar Waterfall. It was absolutely amazing. The turnout was phenomenal. We had like 300, 400 people show up just to see us perform. We started the first LGBT theatre festival in the Northwest with our artistic director. And that was incredible to do because that's never been done here. And people really, they enjoyed it. And we like to do different things which will reach out to different audiences. We like to go for children, families, for people who mightn't necessarily go to theatre. We want to make it accessible. We like to perform in venues, and we like to perform on the streets. We like to perform in the forests. You know, we would like to perform by lakes in the middle of the night in winter when it's really cold. Do you know?
We were looking at moving to the likes of Galway, and going to places where theatre is big and people are supposed to have careers in theatre, because there wasn't that many huge opportunities here for us. But looking at those kind of places, like looking at the bigger cities, we started to realise that it was going to be so expensive for us to live there, that we'd have to make so much money just to be able to survive, that we wouldn't have that extra time to put into developing our work. Last year, the Glens Centre wanted to put on a pantomime. It hadn't been done before, or it hadn't been done in a very long time anyway. So last year was very experimental. We were all over the place. So this year we wanted to give it a more organised run. So we approached them, they kind of approached us. It was kind of a mutual, let's do this again and see what happens.
Things like Girls Brigade and stuff on Thursday. What time does that start at?
Yeah, no, it's fun though. Everything we do is fun, and I love it. Like, we've got stress too, and all the craziness that kind of comes with, running massive productions.
Yeah, but they're all great. It's like a weird mini family.
Yeah, I love our little mini family, our rabbits family.
I tolerate them. I'm joking. I love them as well.